Hey there, welcome to Real World English. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake. We're so happy you're joining us today.
Today we're going to talk about something really fun. We're going to share our dream vacations with you.
Oh yeah, I love thinking about, places I want to visit someday. It makes me happy just to dream about it.
Me too, and the great thing is that dreaming about vacations is free. It doesn't cost anything to imagine yourself on a beautiful beach or in an exciting city.
That's so true. So, where would your dream vacation be, Emma?
Well, I've always wanted to visit Japan. It's been my dream since I was a little girl. I remember seeing pictures of cherry blossoms and beautiful temples, and I thought, wow, I need to go there someday.
Japan, that sounds amazing. What part of Japan would you want to visit?
I'd really like to visit Tokyo first. It's such a big, exciting city with so many interesting things to see and do. But I'd also want to see Kyoto for the traditional temples and gardens, and maybe visit Mount Fuji too.
That sounds like a really good plan. When would you want to go? Like, what time of year?
I think spring would be perfect. That's when the cherry blossoms are blooming. They call it sakura in Japanese. The trees are covered in beautiful pink flowers. It only lasts for about 2 weeks each year.
Oh, I've seen pictures of that. It's really beautiful. Would you go alone or with someone?
I'd probably go with my sister. She loves traveling and she's interested in Japanese culture too. We could explore together. What about you, Jake? Where's your dream vacation?
Well, I think my dream vacation would be Italy. Definitely Italy. I love Italian food so much, and there's just so much history there, you know?
Oh, Italy is wonderful. Which cities would you want to visit?
I'd start in Rome for sure. I want to see the Colosseum and the Vatican, and then maybe go to Florence to see all the amazing art. And then finish in Venice because, well, it's Venice, a city built on water with all those canals instead of streets. How cool is that?
That sounds like a perfect Italian vacation. Would you want to go in the summer?
Actually, I'd probably go in the fall, September or October. The weather is still nice, but there aren't as many tourists. And, I hate standing in long lines when it's really hot outside.
That's smart thinking. Who would you go with?
I think I'd take my dad. He's always wanted to go to Italy too. His grandparents came from Sicily, so he feels a connection to the country. It would be nice to experience that together.
That's so special. I love the idea of connecting with your family history through travel. What specific things would you want to do in Italy?
Well, eating would be a big part of it for sure. I want to try real Italian pizza in Naples, fresh pasta in Bologna, and gelato. Well, gelato everywhere. But also, I'd love to see the ancient ruins and learn about Roman history.
You're making me hungry just thinking about Italian food. Would you try to learn some Italian before you go?
Yeah, I think I would. Just the basics, like hello, thank you, where is the bathroom, and this food is delicious. I think locals appreciate when visitors try to speak a little of their language.
That's true. I would definitely learn some Japanese phrases before going to Japan. It shows respect for the culture. So how long would your dream Italy trip be?
I think about 2 weeks would be good. That gives enough time to see different cities without rushing too much. What about your Japan trip?
I'd want to stay for at least 3 weeks. Japan is so far away from America that I'd want to make the most of the trip. Plus, there's just so much to see and experience there.
3 weeks sounds perfect. Would you stay in hotels the whole time or try different kinds of places?
I'd mix it up. In Tokyo, I'd stay in a hotel, but in Kyoto, I'd love to stay in a traditional Japanese inn. They're called ryokan. You sleep on futon beds on tatami mat floors and wear yukata robes, and they often have these amazing traditional baths.
That sounds like, wow, such a cool experience. Much more interesting than just staying in regular hotels the whole time.
Exactly. It's part of experiencing the culture. What about in Italy? Would you stay in hotels?
Mostly hotels, I think, but I'd love to rent a small apartment in Rome for a few days. That way we could shop at local markets and cook some meals ourselves. There's something special about buying fresh ingredients from a market in another country.
I love that idea. It would make you feel like you're really living there, not just visiting as a tourist. What do you think would be the most challenging part of your Italy trip?
Probably the language barrier. My Italian is, it's non-existent right now. And also figuring out the train system to travel between cities. What about for your Japan trip?
Definitely the language for me too. Japanese is so different from English, and I've heard that many signs are only in Japanese, especially outside of Tokyo. Also, I'm a little nervous about the food. I like Japanese food, but eating it for 3 weeks might be challenging.
I can understand that. Would you bring a lot of money for shopping in Japan? I've heard Tokyo has amazing stores.
Oh, yes. I definitely save up for shopping, especially for electronics and cute Japanese items you can't find in America. They have the cutest stationery and household items, and I'd want to bring gifts for family and friends, too.
That makes sense. I'd probably spend most of my money on food in Italy, and maybe a few nice souvenirs, like a small piece of Murano glass from Venice.
What are you most looking forward to seeing in Italy? Is there any specific place that's at the top of your list?
I think seeing the Colosseum in person would be amazing. I've seen it in so many movies and pictures, but actually standing there and thinking about all the history, that would be incredible. What about you in Japan?
For me, it's the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto. It has thousands of orange gates that make these beautiful tunnels along a mountain path. I've wanted to walk through them ever since I first saw pictures. It looks so peaceful and magical.
Oh, I know which one you mean, with all those bright orange gates in a row. That would make for some amazing photos.
Definitely. Speaking of photos, would you take a good camera on your trip or just use your phone?
Just my phone, probably. Cameras on phones are so good now, and I don't want to carry extra stuff. Plus, it's easy to share pictures right away. What about you?
I'd take my digital camera. The quality is better than my phone, especially in low light. And Japan has so many beautiful night scenes with all the lights and signs in Tokyo or temples lit up at night in Kyoto.
That's a good point. So, if money was no issue, would you stay in really fancy hotels in Japan?
If money was no object, I might splurge on 1 or 2 really nice hotels, but I'd still want to experience that traditional ryokan. Luxury isn't always about the most expensive option. Sometimes it's about the unique experience. What about in Italy?
I agree with that. I might stay in a nice hotel in Rome with a view of the city, but the experience is more important than luxury. I'd rather spend money on good food and interesting activities than just a fancy room.
That makes sense. Oh, would you want to take any day trips outside the main cities in Italy?
Definitely. I'd love to visit Pompeii for a day from Rome, and maybe take a day trip to some small towns in Tuscany to see the countryside. Italy isn't just about the big cities.
That sounds wonderful. The Italian countryside is so beautiful in pictures. All those rolling hills and vineyards. Would you rent a car for that part?
I think so. It would be a little scary driving in a foreign country, but having a car would give us more freedom to explore small villages and stop whenever we want to take pictures.
I'd be too nervous to drive in Japan. They drive on the other side of the road there. I'd stick to trains. Japan has an amazing train system, including the bullet trains that go super fast.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about those bullet trains. How fast do they go?
They can go up to 200 miles per hour, but they're so smooth that you hardly feel the speed. And they're almost always exactly on time, like to the minute. Japanese transportation is famous for being punctual.
That's impressive. Italian trains are, well, let's just say they have a different relationship with time. But that's part of the charm, I guess.
Haha, that's true. Every country has its own pace and way of doing things. That's what makes traveling so interesting. You learn to adapt to different cultures.
Exactly. So, what kind of souvenirs would you want to bring back from Japan?
Definitely some Japanese snacks and candy. They have flavors we don't have here. and maybe a nice tea set. Oh, and some beautiful paper products like notebooks or origami paper. What about from Italy?
I'd bring back some real Italian olive oil and maybe some special pasta that's hard to find here, and definitely some Italian coffee. Oh, and maybe a small piece of art from a local artist as a special memory.
Those sound like perfect souvenirs. I like bringing back things I can use rather than just dust collectors. Though I might get one or two small decorative items from Japan too.
Do you think you'd want to learn about Japanese culture before going, like watching movies or reading books about Japan?
Absolutely. I'd want to understand more about their customs and traditions before visiting. Like, I know you're supposed to take your shoes off in many places, and there are special rules about using chopsticks. I wouldn't want to accidentally be rude.
That's smart. I should probably learn a bit about Italian customs too. Like, I've heard that ordering a cappuccino after morning time is considered strange in Italy, and tipping works differently there compared to America.
Yes, those little cultural differences are so interesting, and it shows respect when you try to follow local customs. What's the first meal you'd want to eat when you arrive in Italy?
Oh, that's easy. A real Italian pizza with a thin crust and simple, fresh toppings. And of course, some local wine to go with it. What about you in Japan?
I'd love to try real ramen at a small local restaurant, not the instant kind we eat in college. And I'd want to try sushi too, of course. I bet it tastes so much fresher there.
I'm sure it does. Would you try any, unusual Japanese foods? I've heard they have some interesting options.
I'm pretty adventurous with food, so yes, I'd try things like takoyaki, which are these ball-shaped snacks with octopus inside, but maybe not the raw horse meat that's popular in some areas. How about you with Italian food? Would you stick to pizza and pasta or try unusual dishes?
I'd definitely try some dishes that aren't common in American Italian restaurants, like tripe or rabbit, which are traditional in certain regions. But I draw the line at the casu marzu cheese with live maggots inside. Some traditions are best left to the locals.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know about that cheese. Yes, I agree. Some local specialties can stay local. So, do you think you'd want to learn some Italian cooking techniques while you're there? Maybe take a cooking class?
That's a great idea. I would love to take a pasta making class or learn how to make authentic Italian sauces. Then I could bring those skills home and keep enjoying Italian food. Would you take any classes in Japan?
I'd love to take a sushi making class, or maybe learn about the Japanese tea ceremony. They have this beautiful, formal way of preparing and serving tea that's like an art form.
That sounds really cool. Would you be interested in seeing any sporting events while in Japan, like sumo wrestling maybe?
Yes, seeing a sumo match would be amazing. And I'd also like to see a baseball game in Japan. Did you know baseball is super popular there? But they have different cheering styles and traditions compared to American baseball games.
I didn't know that about baseball in Japan. That would be fun to see how it's different. In Italy, I'd love to see a soccer match, or football as they call it. The fans are so passionate there.
That would be exciting. I've heard Italian football fans are very enthusiastic. Would you want to do any outdoor activities in Italy, like hiking or swimming?
Definitely. I'd love to hike in Cinque Terre along the coast. Those 5 colorful towns built into the cliffs are so beautiful. And swimming in the Mediterranean Sea would be amazing too. What about outdoor activities in Japan?
I'd love to hike around Mount Fuji, even if I don't climb all the way to the top. And there are beautiful gardens and parks for walking. Oh, and visiting the snow monkeys that bathe in hot springs in the winter would be incredible.
Snow monkeys in hot springs? That sounds so cool. I've never heard of that before.
Yes, in a place called Jigo Donani Monkey Park, these Japanese macaques sit in natural hot springs when it's cold. They look so relaxed, like they're enjoying a spa day. It's mostly in winter when there's snow, so I'd need to plan my trip for that time if I wanted to see them.
That would be worth changing your trip timing for. Such a unique thing to see. So, would you buy any special clothes or gear for your Japan trip?
Good question. I'd definitely need comfortable walking shoes since we'd be exploring cities a lot, and I'd bring clothes that are modest and appropriate for visiting temples. In Japan, it's important to dress respectfully in sacred places. What about for Italy?
Same about comfortable shoes. There would be so much walking on cobblestone streets. And I've heard that Italians dress well, so maybe I'd bring some nicer clothes for dinners out. No shorts and t-shirts at nice restaurants.
That's true. Europeans generally dress more formally than Americans. It's good to blend in a bit and show respect for local customs. Would you bring a guidebook or mostly use your phone for information?
Probably a mix of both. I like having a physical guidebook to read on the plane and in the hotel, but using my phone when we're out exploring. What about you?
I agree. I definitely download some useful apps before going to Japan, like a good translation app and maybe a subway map of Tokyo. The Tokyo subway system is supposed to be very complicated.
That's smart thinking. Would you try to learn any Japanese characters before going, or just rely on translation apps?
I'd try to learn hiragana and katakana, which are two of their writing systems, and maybe some basic kanji characters for things like entrance, exit, bathroom, and numbers. I think it would help a lot with getting around.
Wow, that's impressive. I'd probably just learn a few Italian phrases and hope that many Italians speak some English and use a lot of hand gestures. Italians are famous for talking with their hands.
Hand gestures can be very helpful. Although you have to be careful because some gestures mean different things in different countries. Something innocent in America might be offensive somewhere else.
That's a good point. I should probably read up on that before going. So, do you think you'd keep a travel journal during your Japan trip?
Definitely. I always keep a journal when I travel. It's so nice to read it years later and remember all the little details and feelings that you might otherwise forget. Would you keep one?
I'm not much of a writer, but I might try a photo journal. Take one special photo each day and write a few notes about it. That would be easier for me than writing long entries.
That's a great idea. It's important to find a method that works for you. And speaking of photos, would you try to learn about photography before your trip to take better pictures?
I might watch some YouTube videos about travel photography. Just basic tips for composition and lighting, nothing too technical. How about you?
Same here. Japan is so photogenic that I'd want to capture it well, especially for night photography in Tokyo with all those neon lights. That requires some specific techniques.
Do you think you'd share your travels on social media while you're there, or wait until you get back?
Maybe just a few highlights during the trip. I don't want to spend my whole vacation on my phone. I'd rather be present and enjoy the experience, then share more photos after I return home. What about you?
I feel the same way. Maybe post occasionally so family knows I'm safe, but save the detailed sharing for after the trip. Being present in the moment is so important when you're in a special place.
Hand gestures can be very helpful. Although you have to be careful because some gestures mean different things in different countries. Something innocent in America might be offensive somewhere else.
That's a good point. I should probably read up on that before going. So, do you think you'd keep a travel journal during your Japan trip?
Definitely. I always keep a journal when I travel. It's so nice to read it years later and remember all the little details and feelings that you might otherwise forget. Would you keep one?
I'm not much of a writer, but I might try a photo journal. Take one special photo each day and write a few notes about it. That would be easier for me than writing long entries.
That's a great idea. It's important to find a method that works for you. And speaking of photos, would you try to learn about photography before your trip to take better pictures?
I might watch some YouTube videos about travel photography. Just basic tips for composition and lighting, nothing too technical. How about you?
Same here. Japan is so photogenic that I'd want to capture it well, especially for night photography in Tokyo with all those neon lights. That requires some specific techniques.
Do you think you'd share your travels on social media while you're there, or wait until you get back?
Maybe just a few highlights during the trip. I don't want to spend my whole vacation on my phone. I'd rather be present and enjoy the experience, then share more photos after I return home. What about you?
I feel the same way. Maybe post occasionally so family knows I'm safe, but save the detailed sharing for after the trip. Being present in the moment is so important when you're in a special place.
Exactly. These dream vacations would be once-in-a-lifetime experiences. I wouldn't want to miss anything because I was too busy with my phone. Speaking of which, do you think you'd ever actually take this dream vacation to Italy?
I really hope so. Maybe in the next 5 years or so. I've started saving a little money each month specifically for travel. What about your Japan trip? Do you think you'll make it happen someday?
I'm definitely planning on it. Like you, I'm saving specifically for travel. Japan is expensive, so it might take a few years, but it will be worth the wait. I believe it's important to follow your dreams, even if they take time.
That's a great attitude. And even the planning and dreaming parts are fun, right? Looking at pictures, watching videos, learning about the places you want to visit someday.
Absolutely. The anticipation is part of the joy, and it gives you time to really plan a meaningful trip rather than rushing into it. Have you thought about any other dream destinations besides Italy?
I'd love to go to Australia someday. See the Great Barrier Reef, visit Sydney, maybe even see some kangaroos in the wild. How about you? Any other dream destinations?
I'd love to visit Iceland to see the northern lights and those amazing landscapes with volcanoes and glaciers right next to each other. And maybe New Zealand too, for the beautiful nature and hiking.
Those sound amazing too. There are so many beautiful places in the world to see.
There really are, but I think that's what makes dream vacations special. They're places that call to you personally for specific reasons.
That's so true. And speaking of dreams, we'd love to hear about yours. What's your dream vacation? Where would you like to go? What would you do there? And who would you go with?
Yes, please leave a comment and tell us about your dream destination. We'd love to hear about the places you dream of visiting someday.
Thank you so much for listening to our slow English conversation today. We hope you enjoyed hearing about our dream vacations.
Remember to subscribe to Real World English for more conversations like this one. We post new episodes every week.
Until next time, keep dreaming and keep practicing your English.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.